Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see, we are back with Model A things. Model A days is upon us, so it is time to load up in the old 31 coupe here and head off to the Gilmore Car Museum. Alright, we are loaded up, fueled up, and ready to roll. Fun driving through these old little scenic towns like this. I like this one. They got a good ice cream place in town. Got their own cows and everything. Unfortunately, as you can see, I am back home. I went through each row of cars there, trying to get them all on camera. After that, I made my way over to the Will It Run event. Spent a little bit of time chatting with everybody, just catching up. Haven't really seen them since last year. And before we knew it, the sky opened up and it just downpoured on us. Now, most people took off and fled. I did decide to wait it out, and the storm did blow over. The sun did come back out, but by that time, the vast majority of people left. So after that, everybody decided to run over and try to get the shop class car running. Now, this is a car that a bunch of students have been putting together in class. So we made our way over there. I was helping out a little bit with that. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hold the camera. I do believe Paul Shin was recording, so if you run over to his channel, you might be able to catch some of that footage over there. Check some of that out. The 31 Coupe here has been an absolute blast to drive. That Burt's block in here, it just hums and sings and has been problem-free for me. Paired with that Mitchell, it drives so nicely. So much fun through those Michigan back roads. That's going to do it here for day number 1. I need to be out on the road bright and early tomorrow to get back there, help set up for the Will It Run event for tomorrow. They're going to try to do 2 cars now at the exact same time. They're going to pit 2 different teams against each other. I might be able to be on one of those teams again this year. We'll see what that looks like tomorrow. Either way, it sounds like it's going to be a blast. So I will catch you first thing in the morning. So we are back for day 2 here at Gilmore. If you've never been out here, I highly recommend it. They have an absolutely massive campus here. I believe they have somewhere around 400 cars on site stored in these various barns. They're always hosting different types of events. Obviously, today is Model A days, day number 2. We have a lot more cars out here today. Hopefully there's no more rain. Events are a little bit out of order here. Started off with the Will It Run. I was not able to volunteer this year. There was a lot of additional help, so I just stood back and recorded, interjected myself there near the end. Had a lot of fun, so we'll jump to that and we'll take a walk, look at some of these other cars. This is now my 3rd year of coming to Model A days at the Gilmore Car Museum, and this is by far my most favorite part of the entire show. This is the first start to Will It Run event. This is put on by Larry Shepard of the Missouri Valley region of the Model A Restorers Club. Each year he goes around and finds Model A's that have been off the road and parked and have not been started in decades. He then drags them to the center of the show, and live and in front of a crowd, they get these things up and running again, pretty much no matter what it takes. Now, they also ask for volunteers from the crowd, and that's how I got involved my very first time that I was out there. I volunteered, did that again last year. This year they had a pretty good turnout, so I just decided to sit back and record so I can provide some kind of backseat driving commentary on this one. Had an absolute blast every year that I've been out there. Now, this year they had their hands full with these 2. Both of these had been off the road for at least 40 years here. The pickup truck on the left here was bought as a project in the early 80s, so who knows when it was last started, even before that. Now, I've gone ahead and included a schematic here of the Model A ignition system, and it'll be really important later on for diagnosing exactly the issues that they were facing with trying to get this Roadster up and going. So a little bit of a sneak peek here, but just kind of remember this and refer back to it a little bit later on and see if you can catch what the actual problem here was.
Start.
Here we go.
Hood's coming off. I'm going to talk to you as we go, if that's okay.
So if you're not too familiar here, Larry is the one announcing to the crowd.
No, she's with homestead.
Careful with the hood.
We had homecoming last night. I got to bed about midnight.
We're halfway up. There we go.
A little bit, but not bad. You know, kind of should be able to move south a little bit. It was great.
How's our time going?
I'm homecoming court.
40 seconds.
Her and 5 of her friends.
Hustle up, guys.
Typically, they'll always start by removing the hood. It just makes it much easier to be able to work on both sides of the engine at the same time.
Milford has wrenches in his body. Easy does it. Easy does it. All right, lift her up. All right, up and over. Here we go. Set her down. Big end down. Okay. And this is the way you carry a hood. Here we go.
Oh yeah. You gotta be careful where you take him.
I just that back. It's a little slip.
Yeah, and we got a roadster.
Pick up. I'll get that. Well, we're gonna have to remove the pop. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to take the dash out to take that out and unscrew the pop out. But or see if the distributor will come up. Okay, the other option. Take the 9/16 and loosen. Take that off first, it'll be better. Loosen the distributor, hold down, and see if we can get the distributor up. We don't want to take a chance on breaking it in the head, and that's the problem.
So the very first issue they ran into is that they didn't have the key for this vehicle. It has an original pop-out style ignition switch, which has an armored cable that runs down into the distributor. So Larry here is talking about removing that cable. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can try to unscrew it from the inside, from the interior, which is a little bit tricky because it's hard to turn. Or you can pop the distributor out of the head and try to just then twist it out of the distributor. But those distributors can get locked into those heads very tightly, and you have to be careful not to break them.
Give it a squirt. Come on this side, hit it too. Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead and hit the spark plugs while you're at it, just in case. Let's pull the plugs out. We gotta make sure we got compression on all cylinders. The thumb check works. Quick and easy.
If you've never heard of the thumb test before, it's a very easy way to check for compression. You just remove the spark plug, you stick your thumb over the hole, you have someone either manually crank the engine or you just use the starter button itself, and the compression that the engine makes should blow through your thumb and you'll hear the air escaping rapidly. If you don't feel any pressure or you don't hear any air, it generally means there's an issue with compression.
Okay, see if you can tighten them up. Careful. Okay, all the insulation is fragile. Pull the plugs up. We're going to check and see if we have compression.
You mean keep the order of them, Larry?
See what you got. Out of there. Yeah.
No, they're good. No, I think it'll land. We got one negative, the three oil. That's and just that was fine. I'll take the security though.
So here they're still trying to get that armored cable out of the way. It's clamped down to the cylinder head using one of the head studs. So they're cheating a little bit with the impact wrenches. They didn't have those in years past.
Get that cable clamp up. Okay, grind them up. Okay. Right? There we go. Got lucky. Yeah. It's only been in there for 40 years.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
How many heads can we get underneath that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will it turn? Is it turned?
Yeah, it turns.
A little hard?
Not spectacular, but it turns.
Okay, well we got penetrant lube for it, so do the best we can. Let's get her. Yeah, put it on the. Here, I'll hold this open. Give us a drop.
When they pulled out the distributor, they discovered that it wasn't turning very freely. It looked like a little bit of PV blaster got it to come back around though.
And a TV.
No. Okay, now. All right, it's obvious that our points are not even opening at this point.
So here Larry discovered that the cam lobes weren't even opening the points, so he sent the distributor off to be adjusted while it was out.
Let's go ahead and fix this girl while it's out. Okay? All right, we need pixie dust. All right, now. All right, Milford. All right, we need to. 6 minutes. Let's make sure we got. Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. What do we got? 2 to go, right? Hustle up.
One's pretty decent, two's pretty decent.
One guy said 7 minutes.
I've never had all 4 cylinders checked at once. We got compression on all of them. Makes it a little bit hard, guys, on Mr. Cranker. Okay? No, I'm relying on you. All right, no, try it again. Number 2. I don't hear it. Not much. Okay, so take our penetrant. Let's give it a squirt. Number 2. Try and hit the valve areas on that. Yeah. Okay. And
So here they thought they had a little bit of low compression on cylinder number 2, so they're trying to lubricate up the valves, but if they even have stuck valves, nothing stops these guys. They will pull that head off and get right in there.
all right, do we want to try and take a, hang on, Jim, here. Here's a long arm. See if you can feel which valves that is. You want a light? Where's my metal toolbox? Here. 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 See if you can see which one it is. Might be easier now than later. All right, crank her around, Milford.
Might be okay.
Huh?
They kept the penetrating.
See if you see anything that's moving up and down,
Yeah, see it.
or is it staying up? Yeah.
This one I can see is going up and down.
All right. So how about the exhaust? It's probably stuck.
No, it's going up and down.
Is it? All right. So as it's going up and down, squirt a little bit of penetrant in it. It's all the simple things you do. Looking okay?
Yeah.
At least they're moving. Okay. Sometimes you get them running and they get better.
Yep.
They want to run. All right, here we go. All right, so look at our plugs, check our plugs. I got a brush over here if we need to brush them off, clean them up. What's our plug gap? I want to hear from the ladies.
We would get a brush.
Where's my wife? Where's my wife, Gina? What's the firing order of a Model A?
1, 2, 4, 3.
Thank you very much. All right. You're not a lady. All right. Okay. Fabulous. So let's do our plugs. We got Sam over there doing that. Distributor man, how we doing?
Just fine.
Okay. So we're going to need a pigtail, or we can just use the pigtail screw in to this side of the coil. Grab our electrical meter. Let's see how our connections are. We can do that right now, even without power apply to the battery, or we can go ahead and plug the battery in and see. So grab our meter.
Take that one.
If you own a Model A and you do not have a regular voltage meter, I highly recommend that you pick one up. You can get them almost for free at just about any Harbor Freight. They're not the greatest, but they will get the job done, and they will be one of the best tools in your toolbox.
Okay, Andy. Negative on. Well, no, just go to the battery lead, right?
Connect the battery.
Now we should have continuity here. These are on both sides of our terminal box. Here, stay on here. Do we got it? Kind of.
10 minutes.
Here. Okay. All right. We got him disconnected. So at this point, it looks like we should be okay. Once we plug.
Little did Larry realize that he had just jinxed himself.
It's probably up there on the table. Pigtail lead that we screw in our distributor. It's not that one. Okay. It's got a little clip-on pigtail. Where is it? Where's our cheater lead? Nope. Nope. Uh-oh.
Last time I saw
it was here this morning. Here. Okay. Okay.
No.
Okay. Now, also we need to know, oh boy, how our fuel is. Who's been looking at our gas tank? Nobody.
It's always funny when that happens. You end up with 4 or 5 people standing around waiting for everyone else, but there's always something else they could be doing.
It doesn't look good.
I'm driving it home. Oh, you are?
No. If we need to, we'll put on our auxiliary tank. Distributor okay? Beautiful. Mr. Distributor. Now, how about our condenser? We're just gonna hold it right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I didn't
All right, electrically, let's put our meter on it. All right.
The valve frozen? Yeah. That's too bad.
All right. So let's make sure that yeah. I just want to make sure we don't have a short here. We don't. Okay.
So just a little bit of foreshadowing here. With the distributor has come back, they completed adjusting the points, cleaning things up. He brought it back, and Larry asked him very specifically, how was the condenser? And he's like, it looked okay. I didn't check it though. Then Larry went and checked for shorts and didn't find any. Now keep that in mind here as we go forward.
Yeah, something big enough to get this slats tight. Thanks. All right, gas valve's frozen off.
Yeah, and off.
All right, so we'll use our auxiliary tank.
A little black plastic one?
Yeah. I have a hacksaw. We can always cut the fuel on. No.
Yeah. Be careful here.
Okay, so we're gonna check our continuity. How's our clock doing? Hey, grab our sandpaper to file our points. It should be over there somewhere.
I already did.
Oh, you filed the points? All right. Oh, sorry, we're good to go.
There we go.
Got it.
All right. Like that. Okay. Okay. And let's see. While our plugs are out, let's go ahead and get it to top dead center. Okay. Who's helping with that?
So here they're going to go ahead and set the engine to top dead center so that they can set their timing. And anytime you're doing distributor work, such as adjusting your points, or if you have the distributor out or playing with the cam load, it's always a good idea to go ahead and just reset your timing just to make sure it's back at 0.
No, I got it.
Got it? Yeah. Do we have a well, we don't need that.
I got mine.
The arm goes up here, and then let's go ahead and get our distributor snugged back up.
All right.
9/16.
Do we have that piece?
It went over there for.
That's okay.
I don't think they're using it. No.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's not as.
It wasn't even loose.
No,
I got it.
I'm just gonna have to go with it like it is here because
Screwed in by the bolt. That's all I did.
that's all we can do.
I didn't use it at the end.
Yeah, it's been around. It's not a good setup.
Try and see if I can loosen it.
Well, let's try it like it is. If it doesn't go, we got one.
Does your fuel line go all the way through?
We'll have to. Yes, it does. Because this is probably gonna leak. So we'll grab the black tank. Okay. Here.
So the Model A gas tanks are not being reproduced to my knowledge. So that means that most of these things are 90 plus years old. A lot of them are really rusty, especially if they sit for a long time. So if you're going to try to do a will it run on these, it's always a good idea to have like an auxiliary tank available, because you really don't want to be fighting with a rusty tank and just putting more contaminants down into your carburetor. And since the Model A is gravity feed, you can pretty much use any type of like small engine tank for this. It's really simple. Just make sure it's above the level of the carburetor. It'll just gravity feed down, the same as the factory tank.
Okay, so let's check our voltage.
Oh, not yet. Close.
Andy?
I drove it. It had good brakes.
Jim.
I did put the distributor back.
I took them off.
Here,
I took the front.
make sure that we have
Hubs off.
6 volts over there at that stud, battery, stud, and then both terminal box. Oh, be careful.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll work.
It was in the behind the. I did not see the ring.
Timekeeper, how we doing?
16 minutes.
Uh-oh.
That's
You guys got about 2 minutes. think we'll make it? Size of 18.
Yes, it's 20.
Get a little gas in it.
How we doing? Good morning.
Grab our can of ether, Rick, just in case.
You guys have each for all
Okay.
these
One.
I have an air and a spare.
Somebody grab them. We gotta tighten the cam screw.
We got to time it.
Time it first.
Okay, so we're already top dead center, all right? Our points are set to 20, right? And then we are gonna bring this around. And I'll tell you what, where's our coil wire? Here. All right, we need our ignition pigtail, okay?
Did you get that?
Let's put our ignition pigtail in over here.
Do you know whether anything's good in the box there? Yes. No.
All right, our meter. All right. All right, let's go to. All right.
Now this is where things start to go downhill real quick. Pay close attention here. See how this is sparking and arcing really bad when he's connecting that ignition lead up? Now listen.
Hold off. 18 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, we got a short somewhere.
So what happened is when he connected it there, he started getting a little bit of smoke out of the distributor. He's going to try it here a couple more times, and he thinks that there's a short in the distributor.
Hang on there, crew. All right, did you take the upper plate off?
So this is where they got smoke again the second time there.
It looks.
Now see how he said that this tested okay on the bench for continuity? There's a couple of things here that kind of give away what's happening. The first was kind of that sparking, arcing. The second is the smoke from the distributor. Now if we go back and look at that diagram that I showed you at the very beginning here. Now are you able to figure out what's happening here? Now think about this. What would actually happen if the distributor was shorting up to ground? In a sense, it would be no different than when the points themselves are closed, because that's essentially what the distributor does. It just shorts the points to ground, and that energizes the coil. Now what happens if you leave your ignition switch on with your points closed? Does that make your distributor go up in smoke? Not usually. Now this set off a cascading event where they went through the distributor a number of times looking for a short that never really ended up existing.
Oh no, there might be. Too big.
Did you get that? I didn't see it.
All right, pair of duckbill pliers.
20 minutes.
Black ones. They're here. I'll use these. I got them right here.
He's good. You got something.
Okay.
Check. Where's our meter? Good. Short. right? Okay, so here's our pigtail one. Possibility right here.
No. Right.
Okay, all right, here. Our points are closed, we still good. All right, good. All right, so, unless we have a short from here to our spring. You should be good. You guys see something different. Okay, let's go to our uh-oh. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, everything looks good there to me.
So here Larry has gone through and tested out quite a bit of different things within the distributor body itself, trying to see if he could find a short anywhere, and so far he's come up empty.
What's the problem?
That vibration. Stickers have a different, different material.
I think all the smoke's out now.
More
All the soft stuff has been released.
So it's a little comical that he happened to say that. If you noticed when he connected the ignition lead this time, there wasn't as much arcing like there was previously, and a little bit later we're going to find out the reason for that.
Ready? You should not be smoking. Well, our points are closed. No, you could have. You could have a bad condenser. So we take the condenser out.
So everything checked out okay on the vehicle, but they weren't able to get spark from it, so they decided to pull the distributor back out. And this is where things will really start to get interesting here.
23.
Okay, find us another condenser sitting over there. We got that truck over there.
Where's McPike at?
Heck, you know what?
Just pull the distributor out of that one.
Gonna say, go take it out. Let's get it ready. We don't have a minute to wait.
I skipped ahead a little bit until they got that distributor out, and you might recognize that famous voice here in the background. Paul Shin happened to be recording at the same time and came over and offered a little advice here on getting this distributor put back together.
Those are the guys that short them thing by screwing the cable out too far. Those things. Yeah, I mean, 1/3 of them are bad.
I know, and I tested the thing for continuity before I gave it back to you.
Whoa. The table's screwed, you lose it?
The table's on such an angle, he keeps dropping stuff. Next time he's going to spread out a rag on the table.
No, right?
I have screws and distributor kit here. Just need a lock washer. Here. Oh, don't worry about that. All right. Here's screw hardware, distributor hardware if we need it.
Is this the one we're using, or is this the spare one?
We're using that one.
Okay, they have one over there, it looks like.
Okay.
That's the spare one you had in your hand.
Okay.
And this is a new one.
Yeah, that's an A&L. Either one of them. They're both the same.
Put that one over where it was.
Explain what's going on. Nobody knows.
All right.
Certainly, I'll explain what's going on. Thought that was a fun point to interject here. But Paul and them are just working through the distributor here, checking to see if there's any kind of shorts in the body that explain why it's not getting spark when the points break. But they're kind of working from a limited set of information here. They're just working from the concept of, okay, let's check the distributor to see why it's not sparking. They aren't really checking to see why did the distributor go up in smoke.
We're going to check our voltage here to make sure everything else.
Oh, there it is.
All right. Is our
Points are
battery
closed.
still connected, guys?
Yeah.
All right, try it now. Solid.
So what is it?
All right, so
Good
we
question.
Was the spring hitting?
Is there a bare part of that wire?
27
Here's your
minutes.
problem.
Oh, bad condenser.
It's broken.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
Just FYI, I don't get paid.
So Paul here has identified that the bracket on the back of the condenser that holds it to the body of the distributor and provides the ground path for the condenser is actually separated from the condenser itself. If you remember at the start of all of this, I made an emphasis of pointing out that they said that the condenser looked okay, so I thought maybe they'd have caught something like that very early on. It may have always been like this, but even if it were, it's very unlikely that a condenser that's just not grounded is going to cause the distributor to go up in smoke, or even to cause the distributor not to spark. Now, it will impact the quality of that spark, because that voltage will end up just jumping across your points as they open, and that's what makes them wear a lot faster. And that's the whole point of the condenser itself. Now, if the condenser was shorted internally, that could have been causing why they didn't get spark at all, but that generally wouldn't explain why the distributor would have gone up in smoke like it did.
One of these. If you have 4 volts here and
Where's it? Oh.
or 6 volts here and
Is it getting ugly
4
over here?
volts here,
You got a screw holder?
the only other thing through the circuit is
I give him a block washer back too.
You
found the lock?
Yeah. In the, oh.
So,
A brand new one.
So, if the voltage
I would never
is
find it
the
on the
same
ground.
at both of your
There it is. Okay.
at both of your terminal box sides, that's a good sign. All right. So we're all good there.
Wiggle.
We're good at the coil. We just got a little distributor problem.
Is it line?
Right. Right.
Go.
And
was physically broken.
what was?
The condenser.
Okay, so condenser was broke. All right. So that's an unusual one.
That is very unusual. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go.
Now at this point in time they have the distributor reinstalled and they're still not getting a spark. So this goes on for quite a while. And a few times throughout the video here I've tried to let people know what the actual issue was, but there was just so many people moving around, and unfortunately it never really got all the way up to Larry here until after the show. But he's about to make a suggestion here very shortly that ends up solving what the actual issue was.
Yes. Okay. Let's put the starting rig on it. Okay. That way we got the gas can and everything. Okay.
So the starting rig that they're talking about is essentially an assembly that Larry has here that has a gas tank on it, an ignition switch, as well as an ignition coil, and all of the wiring on it just allows them to bypass all of the factory wiring, which coincidentally is going to allow them to bypass what the issue really was with this car. And it was kind of a difficult one to pinpoint here unless you really were paying attention to what happened very early on. And essentially what we have here is either one of 3 things: a bad coil, bad wiring at the coil, or that they were connecting the ignition lead up from the distributor to the wrong side of the coil. Because that's essentially the only way that you're going to get enough power to short out and cause the distributor to go up in smoke. Otherwise, if the distributor is shorted, it's going to be no different than when your points are closed, the coil is just going to be energized and warm up. It's not going to be enough energy to actually melt the wiring in the distributor itself. So I had set the camera down and walked up with a coil and suggested they could save a little bit of time by just bypassing the factory wiring with the coil itself instead of installing the start rig. But they needed the start rig because they didn't have a lead for the other fuel tank to be able to connect it up to the carburetor. So they just went ahead with the start rig here, but because I moved my feet, I lost my seat there. Ended up being a little bit further back here when I resumed filming.
Hold on. Crank it again. All right, now hold on. We know it will with this. Crank it. Hang on. It helps if you turn the gas on.
Yeah. How many times have we done this?
We got a little leak here. Hang on. Screwdriver.
Little channel lock, the thing was stripped.
Channel, I haven't seen any channel lock.
Did that sound encouraging?
Yeah.
All right, we got a little leak here with a while. So
That's okay. Once you get started.
Wouldn't that be time though? It did start. Didn't run.
yeah, we got a pretty good gas leak here. Here. Yeah, hang on. This clamp is not doing the job very good. Is there another clamp on that other thing? Is there a clamp on that?
Is it tough fuel tank? Doesn't he have the tape? Or he went right to the... Did he go to the car gas thing?
No.
Oh. They have two. All right. Thank you.
You can post in chat.
I can't see it. I'm short.
Well, you can see it on the side.
Climb up the tree.
You can see it on the side.
That's all right. I know what they're doing.
Okay. Okay. Hey, all right. I got choke. Crank it. Crank it. Crank it.
Everybody's clear now.
Poor lady in the back. What's that pump? Sounds like a pump. Water
How's
finally
it
is
going?
raised. There's my buddy.
Pretty good. I'm gonna let go. How's that? It was a little painful. All right. Yeah, it was a little painful, but look, hey, this thing hasn't been running. The idles have been low, but it's still going.
So the pickup here was a bit of a basket case. It was missing a lot of its original wiring. The carburetor on it was seized up. The ground was not very good from the engine to the frame, so there was quite a bit of work they had to do on this one as well here. I didn't get quite as much footage from this one. I kind of got distracted chatting with everybody that was walking around. You see Paul Shin there off to my left. You see Tina kneeling just in front there, so I ended up spending a bit of time just chatting with everyone while they worked on this one, but I'll just let the footage that I did gather roll for this.
Bottom bolt up, Sam. Bottom bolt. All right. Okay. That goes to the generator. We're not going to worry about it right now.
Hey, do you have the extender for the...
He's got it. He's got it. All right. Are we in the timing pit?
Right, okay.
All right. Here, I'll tell you what. Rotate, crank the engine. Hey, Santa. I don't worry. Crank the engine. He's over there.
One is. Well, they said that.
Ready?
People that started, right?
We're try and find her.
Not even on it anymore.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Stop. All right. Again. Go around. Again. Go around. Make it grunt some more. All right. Hang on. Stop.
It will.
Yeah. Hang on a minute.
Well, I like the duct tape right here.
Okay. Go ahead and crank it. Oh boy, hang on. We got to. This
How much better?
Crank it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Stop. All right. We're close. Back it up. All right, crank it one more revolution. Again. Again. Stop. All right, now guys, go ahead and crank it. All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead and crank it. This guy, we have our ground crew.
There's a lot of guys that like.
We got a bad ground.
Blah blah blah. Singing.
Okay.
40 years. Run and be able to drive 6,000 miles home without losing.
Kendra,
Yep.
look at our ground.
Yeah. Okay.
Crank it?
Ground.
No,
Don't crank it. Don't crank it.
No. I mean, check our ground.
Check the ground.
Keep going.
That's good.
That's good to hear.
It'll get real easy here in a second. No, I think we drop in.
What are you talking about?
Something going on.
Crank it.
Ready?
Crank it.
Hey! Ooh!
Don't play it on the vacuum. All right? Okay. We are going to, put the ignition switch on. Okay? Crank it. Stop. Crank it again. All right, stop. I do not have fire. It's the switch on? Just the coil. The switch is on. Do we have, let's see. We'll fix this real quick. Hang on. Well, I only have 4 volts here. Hey, Kendra?
Yes.
This yellow wire, our hot wire, is that on the battery?
Yes.
Okay, we got either we got, no, I'm not worried about that. We got our ground on it. Where's our ground?
Do we want that? Yeah.
No, don't worry about that. See, this is cut off. What is that? Don't worry about that. Okay. All right. Now I want to down at the base. Crank. There we go. Now we got fire. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. Our fuel's on this side. Okay. We have. All right. Crank it. All right. Again.
Come on, baby.
Uh-oh, it doesn't like throttle. Do I need gas?
We put it in there.
Did the other guys use all our gas? All right, crank it away. I hear something squalling. Go. Tighten down that head nut. 11/16.
Nope, I don't have it. Not in my pocket.
Are we gonna? Yeah.
11/16. I got.
What do you think? Time. What time was it?
50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Unfortunately, that's going to put an end here to Model 8 Days 2024. I had an absolute blast, as I have for the last 3 years now. If you are in the region, I definitely highly recommend making it a point to come out and visit. Had a great time catching up with everybody. Spent some time with Paul and Tina Shin, Mitch from the Vintage Ford Forum, Larry Shepard and all his guys from Missouri doing the Will It Run event. Just an absolute blast. Hope to see you there next year.